Oh, it's recording. Hi, OWYP community. I'm Deven. I'm a campus coordinator, and I'm going to talk about what happened today, March 21st. We went into the Hart 7 classroom. We had 9 students present. 1 student was absent, and I was also notified by the teacher that another student will be leaving our class. So that's more than we accounted for. This week's lesson was about going in depth on our focus MDG, women's empowerment and gender equality. So we had several goals for this lesson about exploring gender roles through video, thinking more about inequalities between men and women in our own community in Southeast DC, and how those apply to the global realm. And as always, we're trying to build our community between the project ambassadors and the students. But this morning started off a little bit hurriedly, just because one of our project ambassadors slept through her alarm and ended up missing our drive over to the school. So we had myself and then Corey present for the lesson. However, because we were missing our PA, we were also missing some materials, including a story from the second lesson in the OWYP curriculum, and some journals that we had purchased for the students to start recording their thoughts and reflections on what was going on in the lesson. Yet we were able to improvise, and we started with an icebreaker, talking about kind of reviewing of what we did last week, which involved watching a video about girls' education in India, and had everyone stand up. They seemed really tired from the weekend. They also like to have the lights off in the classroom when we arrive, and I like to turn them on because I feel like it keeps people awake. We handed back questions that we had recorded on sheets the students handed to us. We had them reflect last week after they watched the film on India, and prompted them with more questions, asking about more than just what was fair and unfair in this video, which is how they answered, it was fair that, it was unfair that. We wanted to get them beyond those points, and so asked about what gender equality meant to them, and what, if any, inequities they saw in their community, and how they thought they could be outlets for change for those inequities. So it was tough to get the kids writing on those. Then we introduced Empowering Women Lesson 1 from the OWYP curriculum, and had enough copies to have every student read a paragraph individually, and then we asked them comprehension questions about Mrs. Jakalakshmi, the main character in the story, such as how many children did she have, how did her life change when she got married. And it was wonderful because as students came across words they didn't know, they asked, and one girl, Kiara, prompted, what does inequality mean? And so that started a conversation about what inequality meant. After that, we talked about issues. Still felt like it was going a little bit slow. Then we attempted to watch a video produced by the UN about women around the world, but YouTube wasn't working. So again, we improvised, and we watched part of a video from Michelle and Barack Obama from International Women's Day. And it was at a dinner, so they were introducing different women, and I think some of the names were familiar to the students, such as Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And so we started talking about Hillary and what her role was, and it was good to educate the students on what a Secretary of State does and why that role is important to be filled. So I think that was a positive way for them to see in their own community of Washington, D.C., how women are in positions of leadership and power in politics. Then we didn't have the copy of the second lesson of the story, so Corey and I read it. We tried to read expressively, and I think the students paid attention well. again, we asked comprehension questions after every paragraph, which kept them engaged. And they ended up making a joke about pumping water and how difficult it was. There's one kid who's very entertaining, Isaiah, and loves to do improvisation and move around the room, so they enjoyed that. After that, we kind of talked about how our community related to the OWYP curriculum using the sheet that is from the MDG3 curriculum, which has students map their community based on if they think girls can go to school, what kind of representation women have in politics, what laws are locally protecting women. And so we went through those students' thoughts on that and didn't let them do any sort of research, but just let them talk it out. And they're very needy and needed a lot of assistance on this, but I feel like it was a good exercise for them to do, and we assigned them. The second part is going to be filling in the same worksheet after talking to their parents on what they think the political representation of women is in Southeast, and other things concerning gender. So we think it'll be good to spark dialogue between them and their families on these issues. And also they are free to research online and see what kind of statistics they can find. And we'll conference again the next time we come into the classroom. And we managed to take a class picture, which we're going to send to Kosovo. And that was the end of our time. We didn't have time to write the letters that we're planning on doing that are just going to be about me, concerning neighborhood, family, color, music, books, and TV shows that students like to send to Kosovo. But we'll take care of that as an assignment, and can't wait for next week. Overall, I feel like we're progressing, and we need to work on community mapping and cultural exchange because the students are so interested in dialoguing with Kosovo and are more and more disappointed every time there isn't something waiting or the promise of a Skype call. So we really need to address this problem and also work on engaging the boys as much as we can in the gender inequality stuff, and trying to incorporate as many games and entertaining portions of the lesson to break up some of the reading and writing. Thank you.